A wealthy man watches silently as a waitress risks everything to help a stranger who looks like he has nothing. What she doesn't know is that the man she just helped could change her entire life. And what happens next is something no one in that diner will ever forget. The cold evening air settled over the city as neon signs flickered to life along the busy street. Cars passed, people hurried, and inside a small corner restaurant known as Lakeside Diner, everything moved fast. Orders called out, plates clattered, voices overlapped. Because in a place like this, there was no time to slow down. At the center of it all was Maya Thompson, 24, tired, focused, and carrying more than anyone could see. Table 6 needs refills, someone shouted. I'm on it. Maya responded quickly, already moving. She moved with precision, not because she wanted to impress anyone, but because she couldn't afford mistakes. Because for Maya, this wasn't just a job. It was survival. Every tip mattered. Every shift mattered. Every second mattered. Because back home, reality was waiting. A father who hadn't worked in months. Bills stacked on the kitchen table. A younger sister who had given up on school too soon. And Maya was holding everything together. Barely. Her day didn't end when her shift ended. It continued. Counting money. Planning expenses. Stretching every dollar. How much did you make today? Her sister asked one night. Maya forced a small smile. Enough, she said, even though it wasn't. Because sometimes, strength means pretending things are okay. Back at Lakeside Diner, there was one thing everyone understood. The rules. No exceptions. That's what the sign in the back room said. And the man who enforced it? Mr. Collins. The manager. Strict. Sharp. Unforgiving. If I see anyone giving out free food, he said one evening, you're done. No warnings. The staff nodded, because they knew he meant it. In this place, kindness wasn't part of the system, only efficiency. But Maya wasn't like everyone else. She noticed things. The tired man who counted coins before ordering. The woman who skipped meals to feed her child. The quiet faces that tried not to be seen. Because she understood something deeply. Struggle doesn't always speak out loud. Sometimes, it sits quietly. Across the street, on a cold bench under a flickering streetlight, sat a man. Ethan Cole, worn jacket, unshaven, hands tucked tightly to keep warm. To everyone passing by, he was invisible, just another man people chose not to see. But Ethan wasn't asking for anything. Not food, not money, just space, and maybe a little dignity. Later that night, during a short break, Maya stepped outside. The cold hit her instantly. She wrapped her arms around herself. And that's when she saw him, sitting there, still, quiet, trying not to exist. Their eyes met for a brief second, and in that moment, Maya recognized something. Not his situation, but his silence, because she had felt it before. The kind of silence that comes from needing help, but not wanting to ask. Maya stood there, frozen. The diner rules echoed in her mind. No exceptions. Her responsibilities flashed in her thoughts. Bills, family, survival. Then another thought came. What if that was me? That question changed everything. Without thinking any longer, Maya turned and walked back inside, her heart beating faster. She moved quickly, prepared a simple meal. Nothing extra, nothing noticeable, just enough. Then she stepped outside again, walked toward him, slowly, carefully, and held out the food. You can have this, she said softly. Ethan looked up, surprised, because no one had spoken to him like that all day. Thank you, he said quietly. Maya nodded. No conversation, no attention, just kindness. For a moment, everything felt still, like nothing had happened. But in a place like this, nothing goes unseen. From inside the diner, through the glass window, someone was watching. And within minutes, everything would change. Before we continue with this incredible journey, I spent countless hours researching and crafting this story to bring you something truly meaningful. If stories like this touch your heart, and you want to see more acts of kindness that restore faith in humanity, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. It truly helps these stories reach others who need to hear them. Now, let's see what happens next. For a brief moment, everything felt calm. The cold air, the quiet street, the small exchange of kindness. Maya stood there for a second after handing over the food, not expecting anything, not waiting for gratitude. But Ethan looked at her, really looked, not the way people usually glance and move on, but like someone who hadn't been seen all day. You didn't have to do that, he said softly. Maya gave a small shrug. I know. A pause. Then she added, but I wanted to. Those words lingered. Because in a world where everything had conditions, she had just done something without one. Maya stayed standing for a moment longer than she planned. You should eat before it gets cold, she said. Ethan nodded. Thank you, seriously. She smiled slightly. And for a second, the world didn't feel so distant. Do you work there? Ethan asked, nodding toward the diner. Yeah, Maya replied. You seem busy. She laughed quietly. Always. There was something in her tone. Not complaint. Not pride. Just truth. Maya glanced back at the diner. People moving. Lights bright. Pressure waiting. Then she looked back at him. You've been out here long? She asked. Ethan hesitated. Long enough, he said. Not a full answer. But enough. Maya nodded. Because sometimes, you don't need the full story to understand the feeling. As Maya turned to leave, Ethan spoke again. Wait. She stopped. He reached into his pocket, pulled out something small. A folded piece of paper. Take this, he said. Maya frowned slightly. What is it? Just something I wrote. She hesitated, then took it. Okay. She didn't open it. Not yet. Because right now, she didn't know how important it would become. Maya walked back toward the diner, heart slightly lighter. But something didn't feel right. As she approached the door, she noticed the silence. Too quiet. Too still. The kind of silence that only happens when something is wrong. She pushed the door open and immediately felt it. Eyes on her. Customers. Staff. And at the center of it all, Mr. Collins. Maya. His voice was sharp. Controlled. Office. Now. Her stomach dropped. But she didn't move immediately. Did you give food to someone outside? He asked. No point denying it. Yes. The room held its breath. Mr. Collins stepped forward slowly. Did you forget the rules? Maya stayed calm. I didn't forget. Then why did you do it? A pause. Because how do you explain something that simple? In a place that doesn't understand it? He needed it, she said. Wrong answer. Mr. Collins shook his head. That's not your decision to make. He was hungry, Maya replied. And now you're unemployed. The words hit instantly. Sharp. Final. You're fired. Gasps echoed quietly around the diner. A customer put down their fork. A coworker looked away. Because everyone knew. She had crossed the line. Maya stood there. Frozen. Not because she didn't hear him, but because of what it meant. No job. No income. No backup. Her mind raced. Bills. Family. Everything. Turn in your apron, Mr. Collins said. Just like that. Done. Minutes later, Maya stepped outside. But this time, she wasn't on break. She was unemployed. The cold felt different now. Sharper. Heavier. She looked across the street. Ethan was still there, eating slowly, carefully, as if the meal mattered. And for a moment, Maya questioned everything. Was it worth it? Ethan saw her, stood up, walked toward her. What happened? He asked. Maya forced a small smile. I got fired. Silence. Ethan looked at her. You lost your job because of me? She shook her head. No. Then she corrected herself. I lost it because of a decision I made. There was no regret in her voice. Just reality. Ethan studied her face, trying to understand something rare. You don't seem angry, he said. Maya exhaled slowly. I am. A small pause. But not at you. That mattered. Because most people would have blamed him. Ethan looked down briefly, then back at her. You didn't just give me food, he said. You gave me something else. Maya frowned slightly. What? Respect. The word landed softly, but deeply, because that's what had really happened. Maya looked back at the diner, the place she had just lost, then back at Ethan. And for a moment, neither of them spoke, because something bigger was beginning, something neither of them fully understood yet. But very soon, everything would change. The cold night stretched on. Maya stood there. No apron, no job, no plan, just silence. For the first time in a long time, she didn't know what came next. Ethan noticed it, not just her words, but the weight behind them. You should sit, he said gently, gesturing to the bench. Maya hesitated, then slowly sat down. The city moved around them. Cars passed. People walked. Life continued. But for Maya, everything had paused. You didn't have to do that, Ethan said again. Maya gave a tired smile. I know. Then why did you? She looked down at her hands. Because I know what it feels like. Ethan stayed quiet, listening. To need help, she continued softly, and not want to ask for it. That hit. Because she wasn't just talking about him. She was talking about herself. My dad hasn't worked in months, she said. My sister dropped out of school. She exhaled. And I've been trying to hold everything together. Ethan nodded slowly. Now he understood. This wasn't just kindness. It was connection. For the first time in days, Ethan felt something shift. Not hunger. Not cold. Something deeper. Because what Maya had given him wasn't just food. It was dignity. And now, she had paid the price for it. You shouldn't have lost your job for that, he said. Maya shrugged slightly. Maybe not. A pause. But I'd do it again. That answer surprised him. Because it wasn't logical. It was human. Inside the diner, the atmosphere had changed. Employees whispered. Customers talked quietly. She didn't deserve that. It was just food. Why fire her for that? Even some regular customers looked uncomfortable. Because deep down, they knew something wasn't right. Mr. Collins stood behind the counter, trying to maintain control. But something had shifted. Because once people start questioning, control weakens. Outside, reality hit harder. Maya checked her phone. Missed calls. Messages. Her sister. Did you get paid today? One message read. Maya stared at the screen, then locked it. Because the truth was heavier than the silence. I don't know what I'm going to do, she admitted. For the first time, her voice cracked. And that moment mattered. Because strength only lasts so long without support. Ethan watched her closely. This wasn't just a situation anymore. This was consequence. And he knew something she didn't. Something that changed everything. He wasn't just a man on the street. But revealing that now would change the moment. Turn it into something transactional. And that's not what this was. So he stayed quiet. But inside, a decision was forming. Wait here, Ethan said suddenly. Maya looked up. Where are you going? I'll be back. Before she could ask anything else, he walked away. Not fast. Not dramatic. Just purposeful. Maya watched him go. Confused. Because now, she had nothing left. And the only person she had just connected with was walking away too. Minutes passed. The cold grew stronger. Maya pulled her coat tighter. And for a moment, doubt crept in. Maybe I made the wrong choice. The thought was quiet, but real. Because when consequences show up, even the strongest decisions feel uncertain. Then, footsteps. Maya looked up. Ethan was back. But something was different. Not his clothes. Not his appearance. But his presence. Calmer. More certain. He sat down beside her again. I'm sorry, he said. For what? For what you're going through. Maya shook her head. It's not your fault. But Ethan knew something she didn't. Across the street. Inside the diner. A black car pulled up. Not just any car. Luxury. Unmistakable. Someone important had arrived. And within moments, the story that started with a small act of kindness was about to take a turn no one expected. Have you ever done something you knew was right, even when it cost you something important? Would you still make that same decision today? Let me know in the comments. The black car came to a smooth stop in front of Lakeside Diner. Inside, conversations slowed. Heads turned. Because cars like that didn't come here. Doors opened. A sharply dressed man stepped out, followed by another. And then, Ethan. But this time, he wasn't the same man who sat on the bench. His posture was different. His walk was confident. His presence, commanding. Maya stood up slowly, confused, because the man walking toward the diner looked nothing like the one she had helped. Inside the diner, Mr. Collins straightened his posture immediately. Good evening, sir, he said quickly, because now he recognized him. Everyone did. Ethan Cole, owner, the man who owned not just this diner, but several businesses across the city. Silence filled the room, because suddenly, everything made sense. Maya stood frozen outside, watching, trying to process what she was seeing. The same man, the same face, but completely different. Inside, Ethan walked calmly through the diner, looking around, not at the food, not at the decor, at the people. Interesting place, Ethan said calmly. Mr. Collins forced a smile. We pride ourselves on efficiency, sir. Ethan nodded slightly. I noticed. A pause. Especially how you treat people. The tone changed. Subtle, but sharp. Mr. Collins hesitated. I don't understand. Ethan looked toward the door, where Maya had just been standing minutes ago. The waitress who helped me, he said. Silence. Mr. Collins swallowed. She broke company policy. Ethan stepped closer. And what exactly is your policy? No free food. No exceptions. Ethan nodded slowly. And kindness. No answer. Ethan turned to the staff. Do you know what she did? He asked. No one spoke. She saw someone in need, and she chose to help. He paused, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. The room was completely silent now, and for that, he looked directly at Mr. Collins. You fired her. Mr. Collins tried to respond. Sir, I was just enforcing rules. Ethan interrupted. Or control. The question cut deep, because everyone knew the answer. Outside, Maya stood still, uncertain, until one of the staff members stepped out. He's asking for you, they said. Maya hesitated, then slowly walked back inside, heart racing, because now, everything felt different. Maya stepped through the door, all eyes on her. Ethan turned, and smiled slightly. You came back, he said. Maya nodded. I didn't understand what was happening. That's fair, he replied. Ethan stepped closer. You helped me when you thought I had nothing. Maya looked down. I just did what felt right. Ethan nodded. That's exactly why this matters. Ethan turned back to the room. Effective immediately. He paused. Things are going to change. Everyone held their breath. Policies will be reviewed. Leadership will be corrected. And respect, he looked around slowly, will no longer be optional. Then he turned back to Maya. And as for you, her heart pounded. I would like to offer you a position. Maya blinked. A better one. Tears filled her eyes. And not just a job. Ethan continued. An opportunity to help shape how this place treats people. Maya covered her mouth, because everything she had lost was now being replaced with something greater. Not because she asked, but because she chose kindness. Days later, the same diner, but different. A customer sat quietly, struggling. Maya noticed, walked over, smiled, and helped. But this time, no one stopped her. No one questioned it. Because now, kindness wasn't against the rules. It was part of them. Across the room, Ethan watched, not as a stranger, but as someone who had learned something important. 3 months later, Lakeside Diner was no longer the same place. The lights were the same. The tables were the same. The menu hadn't changed. But the atmosphere? Completely different. People smiled more. Employees spoke to customers with warmth. Managers listened instead of commanded, because something had shifted. Not just policies, but perspective. At the center of that change was Maya Thompson, no longer just a waitress trying to survive. Now, she was part of leadership, not because of experience, not because of status, but because of character. Maya still worked hard, still showed up early, still moved with purpose. But something was different now. She wasn't just working to survive. She was building something. Her family situation improved too. Bills were no longer overwhelming. Her sister had gone back to school. Her father was slowly finding his footing again. And for the first time in a long time, Maya felt stable. Not because life became easy, but because one moment changed her direction. As for Ethan Cole, he changed as well. Not in wealth, not in power, but in awareness. He began visiting his businesses more often, not as an owner, but as an observer, watching, listening, understanding, because he had learned something important. The true value of a business is not in profit. It's in people. What happened at Lakeside Diner didn't stay there. Other branches started changing. Managers softened. Employees became more attentive. Customers noticed. And slowly, that one act of kindness turned into a culture. Because kindness spreads, not through rules, but through example. One evening, Maya stepped outside again. The same spot, the same street, but everything felt different. A man sat on the bench, quiet, tired, just like Ethan had been. Maya paused, then smiled gently. Are you okay? She asked. The man looked up, surprised. And in that moment, the story came full circle. Because now, she wasn't the one struggling. She was the one helping. The truth is, most people don't realize how powerful a small act can be. A simple gesture, a moment of care, a decision to help, can change someone's life. And sometimes, it can change your own too. Maya didn't know who Ethan was. She didn't expect anything in return. She just chose kindness. And that choice changed everything. Stories like this remind us that extraordinary kindness exists all around us. If this story touched your heart, please like this video. It helps more people discover these inspiring stories. Subscribe for more emotional and powerful stories that restore faith in humanity. And most importantly, look around you, because someone near you right now might need a little kindness more than you realize. So let me ask you, what act of kindness will you perform this week? Tell me in the comments below. Thank you for watching. And remember, You have the power to change someone's entire world.